to a video game website that sends news out. But also,
Go to the internet.
Go to the internet. Also, quick note: Unravel 2 is now on EA Access, so check it out. That's a really cool game.
Heck yeah.
Quick news. Stein, why don't you take us into our next?
Absolutely. We're going to rotate out here into one of our interviews. Accessibility in video games is something that all of us here at Mixer are very enthusiastic about. Games have been making strides to increase accessibility for gamers with disabilities, of course, as well.
Yep.
There we go. And now, thanks to Microsoft Garage, blind or low vision gamers can now have a game that they can play called Ear Hockey. And of course, here to talk about this more, to join us is Boris and Patrick. Welcome to the show.
Boris and Patrick, everybody give it up for Boris and Patrick.
Hey guys.
Thank you guys.
How's it going?
Welcome.
Thanks.
Which one's Boris?
I'm gonna do this
one's
one.
Boris. Okay.
Yes.
That's right, Patrick.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. That's what you call long arm stretches.
right.
There we go. So I kind of want to jump in right there. I know I did a little opening bit there, but can you kind of talk to us a little bit about Microsoft Garage and Ear Hockey?
Yeah. So Microsoft Garage is this platform we have for like experimental projects and like passion projects of the employees to showcase apps and games that. Yeah, experimental. So maybe we wouldn't like release them first party, or we don't have the resources for that.
But it's something you
Right,
want to
but-
dabble in to see. Is this
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that
for
should
dabble-
maybe
yep.
go a little bit farther?
Yep.
And
And the Garage actually also hosts the hackathon event, which is how I met Boris and the rest of this team a year and a half ago.
So you both are Microsoft employees, basically. Yep,
Right.
that
Yep.
work here. I think a lot of people miss what the Garage is, or they don't quite
Yeah.
go mainstream. But some things will be birthed out of Garage and come out and then into the mainstream, of course. Things
Yeah.
like Ear Hockey, of course.
which is so cool because I think maybe some corporations that are of a certain size can tend to get a little bit complacent, but I love to see from Microsoft specifically, a corporation is doing really well with all of their accessibility sort of initiatives.
yeah.
Being able to see a lot of this come to life, it's super inspiring. Now I'm curious, ARG, I was looking at that acronym earlier and I was wondering what it was. Can you explain what
Yeah,
it is?
and I'm glad more people don't ask because it's kind of a long story. So that stands for Audio Augmented Reality Gaming.
Nice.
And that was the name of this team when I joined them in the hackathon of 2017. And so augmented reality, we were originally looking at the HoloLens headset because it uses spatialized sound, which means it distorts the sound in certain ways to make it sound like the source of the sound is,
from
somewhere in
different
space. Yeah. So the team saw an opportunity there for accessibility for blind and low vision players because there's a lot more information you can convey with sound. So that's where we started, audio, augmented reality games. But then we soon moved to PC games because there's spatialized sound now for regular game engines as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then to quickly highlight here, what do you got? What's your day jobs here? I'm actually just kind of curious.
Right. So I'm a developer here at Microsoft. So I work in Dynamics CRM.
Oh,
I've been in Microsoft for around 3 years, and I'm doing nothing to do with gaming or entertainment. It's just it is a business software, so
yeah.
it's kind of a long way off from.
Yeah,
from doing here.
we use Dynamics, of course, up on the team a lot, which and it, we use it a lot internally. But a hobby, I guess, is now video games.
Yeah, I've always been passionate about video games, playing them, and now making them. So
Nice.
Great unifier, as they like to say. Video games, love it. Well, speaking of video games and the game you guys are here to talk about, Ear Hockey, tell us a bit about what it is, because this is super fascinating.
Yeah, so, well, the title is obviously a play on air hockey, and the game is pretty similar to air hockey in terms of gameplay, also similar to Pong. You have two paddles and you have a ball bouncing back and forth. And the way we made this possible with audio only is that the ball is constantly emitting sound, and you are the paddle, and you actually move left and right, which is more like ear hockey and less like Pong.
Sure.
And so you just listen, and basically, if it sounds like it's coming to your right, you got to move to the right.
Oh, so fascinating. And why was it so important for this title specifically to be made? Like, what was the sort of the inspiration behind it?
So, I mean, kind of where we're coming from is trying to create experiences that can be enjoyed only through audio, right? The very inspiration that got the team started and later on these projects that we're working on was actually a gentleman named Daniel Kish. He's an echolocator, actually one of the most proficient echolocators in the world. Basically, what he's able to do is he's able to click his tongue and he's able to listen for the audio echoes from the environment around him and actually be able to visualize the physical space. So we saw him, and actually the founder of the team saw him on a TED Talk, and he got the idea of, hey, why don't we try to use technology to bring this skill to a larger amount of people? That's kind of what started us going. We started off trying to virtualize this technology, then we realized we should go through the virtual space. And the easiest way to go to the virtual space was then through gaming. This way we can raise awareness on it. We can get more people into these kind of skills. And then we were thinking that this space is not as explored as other in the video gaming community, right? So we were thinking we should just go through the very basics, the very starts, origins of the game, of the gaming in general, which was Pong, and try to do that as a re-implementation that's only used through audio. And that's kind of what our intention was.
That's so sick. That is so sick. I tried it before and like my mind was kind of blown. And it makes sense to kind of go back to the beginning of video games and like as video games progress and sort of go back and retroactively add this sort of new implementation and way to play. Are we gonna do a demo while we ask the questions? Okay, so I'm gonna
switch.
Oh yeah, I guess
Do a
we should
shimmy.
yeah, let's switch.
I don't think the headphones will reach.
So guys, I'm
Do
going.
a little
Are you
rotation.
gonna do an interview while you're playing this?
I'm gonna.
I will help.
He's gonna help me.
I will.
That
I will
sounds
probably
really
take
hard.
over. Why?
I am
he
good,
helps
but
out.
I'm not that good.
Yeah.
You're gonna have your eyes closed.
Exactly. So I think we're gonna go through the tutorial first to kind of give people an idea of what to expect.
You gotta,
I'm gonna have to
you gotta
sit.
sit up way on the edge.
Now I can't hear anything, so just hit me if you need
That's
me.
okay.
Why?
I'm actually kind of curious. He's gonna
Okay, we'll
start
talk
the
through
tutorial
Malik.
here. Maybe walk him a little bit through the tutorial, or at least us here watching on the stream. Kind of what's
Yeah.
he gonna be going through here?
Yeah, so he's hearing the narrator explain to him if he wasn't looking, you know,
Right.
She's mapping out like where you are, what's in front of you. She tells him you can move left and right.
Uh huh.
Good job.
Oh, you just did that. So it says like the ball's gonna come towards you. Listen to what it sounds like.
Now the ball
So this
will
starts to
approach
get you
to
kind of
the
used
right.
to the audio
Using the
cues
left
that you're
and
gonna
right
probably be
arrow
playing.
keys.
And
Yep.
especially,
Hold the right
there's a lot of
stick with the
video
ball.
gaming type of sounds. So it's
job.
not very
Yep.
intuitive for
Under the
someone who
ball.
hasn't
Ball
played
will now
before
be launched
what each
towards
sound
you.
means. And that's
Mhm.
one of the feedback we got as we were
Next, the
developing the
ball
game.
will approach
So
all the
this
way
pretty
to the
much
right.
gives you
Move
an
to the
overview of
right
what
until
is
you hit the
playing, what is
sidewall.
each sound meaning,
This sound
and
means
just
you've hit the
letting you
sidewall.
get comfortable
Can't
with the
go any
controls.
farther in
Nice.
this
That happens.
direction.
Now,
Will now be
I'd love to
launched
hear a little
towards
bit,
you.
maybe if you guys have any insight. What's the reception
Now,
been so
move back
far
toward
from the
center
blind or
line
low
of the
vision
court where you
community
started.
on ear hockey?
This sound
So I would say the reception has been very positive. I think,
Very appreciative.
yeah, I think what we've heard back is kind of what we were expecting, which is this cool idea that can be enjoyed entirely through sound, and that people can actually get the hint of it and just play it and enjoy it with their friends, family, and so on. And actually, there was one piece of feedback we got through the Windows Store review that was saying that this is the very first game in the Windows Store that he was able to play as a blind
Really?
gamer. Yeah, and that's kind of all we hope
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
That's really, I mean, that's really big. That's impactful because we all, like, I remember my first video game and, like, we all have those fond memories. And this person's first memory is ear hockey out of that Microsoft Garage kind of experience. I don't know, that's something unique and special that person's always going to remember out of that. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, there
Um,
really are very few audio-based games out there, and especially very few like action-based games like this, where it's timing and it would be hand-eye coordination, but hand-ear coordination. So, and I personally like actiony, fast-paced games a lot. And yeah, that whole world has been inaccessible.
So essentially
a
what
long
we're
time.
seeing here now in the demo is he's going through, like, that Pong, like, back and forth.
Yeah, so now he's practicing against the computer
And
player.
those audio cues are basically coming in over the left,
Oh.
over the right.
Player's good. Not better than me.
The
I get in
you mean
that.
the tutorial?
Well, it's fine because trick shot.
You barely
Trick
got
shot.
I know I did barely get it.
Wait, what happened to closing his eyes?
Yeah.
Now,
He's
can you
looking
close
right
your-
at
now, can you now close your eyes?
Well, there's actually the one player mode does that for you.
Yeah, it's true, but we have higher expectations for you.
I was trying to let you peek.
All right, so this is the all right, so this is keep playing, right?
You don't quit the game. There you go.
All right, so here we go. So this is where it gets real, so real. All right, so here we go.
And
I'm
are
not
you gonna
gonna
look.
So I'm not gonna be able to see.
Well,
The screen will be
The
blank,
screen
and I think you
blacks
guys-
out.
The
Yeah.
important thing about this is by default it's
Oh.
black, right?
Yep.
So we don't want. If you want to turn it on, you have to do it yourself and
You have
go
to
to
go- right.
settings and have that
And
extra
manually
effort.
turn it on.
Yeah. So this kind of we're trying to motivate you to not do it.
I like that. I like that it
Unmotivated,
starts
yeah.
there. It doesn't even ask you or give you the option. It just you
Yeah.
can go in the settings,
scored
though,
on
of
me.
course.
Yeah, it tells you can go to settings, but
Right.
Scored on me? Oh no.
uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
we're
like that. And then
causing a lot of
yeah, he's concentrating at a very, very blank
This
screen.
would be hard.
It's easy if you close your
it.
eyes.
Dang it.
Now ask all the questions.
All right, one more.
yeah.
He's trying.
Well, the computer is whooping my butt by 3 points. Now I'm curious, how does this game sort of support? Obviously, the Xbox adaptive controller was a huge thing. That's so weird. I'm trying to turn my head. I can't. That came out last year. Tell me a
Yeah.
bit about sort of how this game utilizes the Xbox adaptive controller.
So the game has full support for the game adaptive controller. You can plug it in and use it just as an Xbox controller. Now we didn't optimize for it because that's not our main audience, but it's fully supported, so anyone can play it and just
And
extend
what's
the
nice
controller.
too with the adaptive controller is it's of course fully customizable. So depending on the
Yeah.
setup you have, not only can you can play this game, but you can also customize it any which way, whatever button, joystick toggle, switch, etc. That accessories that they've been making.
And this game especially be very accessible to people who have impaired mobility because it's just really left and right.
Yep.
And then you have up and down and select.
And a button.
But those don't need to be like fast timing based. Really, it's just the left and right that are like important to
Yeah,
the
nothing
game.
difficult like button mashing can be one a known issue with some of those.
I swear I will score 1 point. This is a heated
rooting for
contested
you.
game. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What's your score?
I have 0 points, but I'm in a contested game. Like
It's a contest.
I have 2
Is this
points.
like the
Oh, you got 2 points?
scored a
I scored
point.
2 points.
Oh.
It's 2 to
I was gonna say,
5.
is this like the Chiefs game that we just watched the other day?
Oh no, that's too topical, Simon. We're gonna lose people.
Too topical. While he's trying to practice here, ear hockey looks great, of course. We'll talk about where it's available here in a second. But what are you guys? Can you guys share like what is the AARG team working on now, or what are things that you guys are looking into?
Yeah, can we share? I don't know how much we can say.
If you can, of course, you can.
That's okay. So we experimented on a lot of projects
Yes.
as part of the hackathons that we worked on, and we're actually trying to get more of these echolocation and different audio effects into different type of games and experiences. So we are actually also really excited to hear feedback of what would people try to play next, how would they think they could enjoy audio-based games further. But we are definitely working on more exciting projects for along the line.
Awesome.
That's super dope. I gotta say, just from trying it, again, like the idea of bringing games to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to play games and bring it in a new way so that you are essentially developing solutions to potential that would open up opportunities for future games to be played is so cool. And so I'm really excited to see what you guys have coming down the pipeline. Now, where can people find the game?
In the Windows Store.
Nice.
So they can search it as ear hockey, and it should be.
It's the only thing that will come up.
Yeah.
It's the only
Right
thing.
earlier.
That's good.
The only one of its
Perfect.
kind.
Ear
That's
hockey,
perfect. That's perfect. So they can get that on the Microsoft PC store today,
Yep.
download it, and start playing it
Yep.
tonight.
Yep. Use a good pair of headphones.
Yep.
Makes a big difference.
And,
Yeah.
the greatest thing about
I'll put these on like an A50.
Yeah,
I
right.
think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better. And the greatest thing, building up on what you were saying, is you can play it any way you want, right? So you can go and turn on the graphics if you want. That makes it more enjoyable. I think the main idea of the game is that anyone can play it and you can play it together. So especially for families that they have like a kid that may be blind or with low vision, they can just play together and then just enjoy it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other part of this is I think I've got friends who are blind and one friend who's low vision. Like this is something that I could play with them as well. This is something that not just for them to play alone, but for something that I can also join in and play with them. I like that angle there. So.
Chances are they will learn it faster than you. though.
Yeah, and they will
I
get
was,
you at
I was
it.
gonna say already
Yeah.
based on their senses, the
Yep,
auditory.
yep.
Yeah, I know a lot of them depend on that a
Auditory
lot.
perception.
It's much stronger too, so they probably would.
From what we've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually lost a lot during conferences.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna beat at your own game. I feel like that shows that you guys made it.
That happened.
In a way.
Yep.
In a way. Anyway, Boris, Patrick, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for
stopping
having us.
by. Thank you so much.
Yeah, our
and
pleasure.
everyone, give it up for Boris and Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, yeah. You guys
And of course,
can-
be sure to check out Ear Hockey specifically on the Microsoft Store.
That's right.
Make sure you snag it. Again, it's Microsoft Store on Windows 10, and it's a free game. I don't know if we said that earlier. It's a free game, so grab it and play it with your friends today.
I love
and then
free
ready
things.
To switch.
Switch.
Look at that.
I will say it's like that that holiday sort of campaign that we saw Microsoft run, which is one of the most awesome things I've ever seen. It's like when we play together, we all win. It's sort of talking about the way that as a company we're trying to ensure that as many people as possible can play games. And this is another great example of stuff that we're working on in the Microsoft Garage that will affect countless numbers of people.
Absolutely. And the goal with anything with Microsoft is try to make a top shelf experience for anyone who's going to be playing those games.
So good. So good. Now it's time to switch some gears over into, that was not a segue, by the way. I feel like anytime that I make a transition, Stein is judging it on his segue spectrum.
I already kind of said top.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez. I missed it. They're so bad that I just disregard them.
Speaking of top.
It's time for our top 5 lists.
That's
everyone.
right.